Why process documentation fails to change behavior? Many organizations believe that once a process is documented, the work is under control. A procedure is written. A flowchart is approved. Employees receive training. The document is uploaded to the management system. But weeks later, people are still working in different ways. Important steps are skipped. Informal workarounds continue. The procedure exists, but the real process has not changed. This is not always because employees are careless or resistant. Very often, process documentation fails because it describes what people should do without addressing what actually shapes their behavior. In this video, we will examine why procedures, manuals, and process maps often fail to influence daily work, and how Lean Six Sigma can turn documentation into a practical tool for operational excellence. This is the third episode of Modern Lean Six Sigma: Hidden Failures in Operational Excellence. The first mistake is confusing documentation with process control. A document is a representation of the process. It is not the process itself. The real process happens when employees interact with machines, systems, materials, customers, deadlines, and other departments. A procedure may describe a clear sequence of activities, but real work may include missing information, system limitations, urgent requests, conflicting priorities, and unexpected variation. When documentation ignores these conditions, employees must choose between following the document and completing the work. Most people will choose the action that allows the operation to continue. Imagine a purchasing procedure requiring 3 approvals before an urgent material can be ordered. The official process appears controlled. But if waiting for all 3 approvals stops production, employees may use emails, personal messages, or informal verbal authorization. The organization then has 2 processes. The official process exists in the document. The real process exists in daily behavior. Updating the document alone will not close that gap. The organization must understand why the real process is different. Many procedures are written by people who do not perform the activity every day. Quality departments, consultants, managers, or process specialists may create documents using interviews, old records, and management expectations. These sources are useful, but they may not reveal the full reality of the work. The person who performs the task knows where the process slows down. They know which information usually arrives incomplete. They know which system fields create confusion. They know which steps are repeated because the first attempt often fails. They also know which unofficial methods are required to meet the expected result. When employees are excluded from process design, documentation may look correct but remain operationally unrealistic. This creates an important lean principle. Do not document the process only from a conference room. Go to the Gemba. Observe the work. Ask employees to demonstrate what they actually do. Compare the written sequence with the real sequence. Look for interruptions, waiting, rework, unnecessary movement, manual corrections, and informal decisions. Documentation becomes useful when it reflects reality and supports a better way of working. It should not simply describe management's idealized version of the process. Behavior is shaped by the system around the employee. People respond to targets, workload, available time, leadership actions, software design, performance indicators, and consequences. A procedure may say that quality comes first. But if employees are rewarded only for production volume, they may feel pressure to move faster and skip important controls. A document may require complete data entry. But if the system is slow and the queue is growing, employees may leave fields incomplete. A procedure may tell workers to stop the process when an abnormal condition appears. But if previous employees were criticized for stopping production, people will remain silent. In these situations, the written standard is not the strongest influence on behavior. The strongest influence is the operating environment. This is why organizations should avoid immediately blaming employees for noncompliance. The better question is, what conditions make the undesired behavior easier or more attractive than the correct behavior? Perhaps the standard is unclear. Perhaps the process is too complex. Perhaps the required tools are unavailable. Perhaps leadership sends contradictory messages. Perhaps the system allows errors to pass without warning. If the process depends entirely on memory, attention, and personal discipline, the risk of deviation remains high. Good process design makes the correct action easier to perform. Another common failure is excessive documentation. Some organizations believe that more detail always creates more control. Procedures become long, technical, and difficult to navigate. Employees must search through multiple pages to find one important instruction. The document may contain revision histories, responsibilities, definitions, references, warnings, tables, exceptions, and approval records. All of this may be necessary for governance, but it does not automatically make the document useful during real work. Employees often need quick answers. What should I do now? What is the correct sequence? What is the quality criterion? What should I do if something goes wrong? Who must be contacted? A 20-page procedure may satisfy an audit while failing the employee. This is where layered process documentation can help. The organization may maintain a complete controlled procedure for governance, but employees can also receive visual work instructions, checklists, decision trees, photographs, examples, or short digital guidance. The format should match the task. A complex technical process may require detailed instructions. A repetitive operational task may need a visual standard located near the workplace. The objective is not to make documentation shorter at any cost. The objective is to make the correct information available at the moment it is needed. Another mistaken assumption is that presenting a procedure means people have learned it. Employees attend a meeting. The document is shown on a screen. Attendance is recorded. The organization considers the training complete. But exposure is not competence. People may understand the explanation during the session and still struggle to apply it later. Effective process training should connect information to real situations. Employees should see the correct method. They should practice it. They should receive feedback. They should understand why the standard matters. They should also know how to respond when the process moves outside normal conditions. Training should answer more than, what are the steps? It should also answer, what problem does this standard prevent? What risk does it control? How do I recognize an abnormal condition? What authority do I have to respond? When employees understand the purpose behind the standard, compliance becomes more meaningful. They are not simply following instructions. They are protecting quality, safety, flow, cost, or customer value. A procedure should not be approved simply because it appears logical. It should be tested under real operating conditions. Can employees follow the sequence without creating delays? Are all required tools and inputs available? Are responsibilities clear? Do different employees interpret the instructions in the same way? Does the standard work during high demand, shift changes, equipment problems, or unusual customer requests? Testing often reveals hidden weaknesses. A step may depend on information that arrives too late. A checklist may contain terms that operators interpret differently. A system may require more time than the process allows. An approval may be unavailable during certain shifts. These are not minor details. They determine whether the standard can survive daily operations. A useful standard is one that has been validated by the people who perform the work. It should represent the best known method today, not a perfect method that exists only on paper. And because processes change, standard work must also be reviewed and improved. A document should never become permanent simply because it was approved. Documentation becomes more effective when employees participate in creating and improving it. Participation does not mean every employee can change a controlled process independently. It means the organization uses operational knowledge during process design. Employees can help identify unnecessary steps, unclear instructions, frequent exceptions, missing resources, common errors, better sequences, opportunities for mistake-proofing. This participation creates process ownership. People are more likely to follow a standard they understand and help validate. They are also more likely to report when the standard no longer reflects reality. Leaders play an essential role. If managers ignore the documented process when results are under pressure, employees learn that the standard is optional. If leaders accept shortcuts without investigation, deviation becomes normal. But when leaders regularly observe the process, ask questions, remove obstacles, and respond constructively to problems, documentation gains credibility. The standard must be reinforced by leadership behavior. For process documentation to influence behavior, several conditions must work together. First, document the real process before designing the future process. Second, involve the people who perform the work. Third, remove unnecessary complexity. Fourth, use a format appropriate for the activity. Fifth, connect the standard to customer, quality, safety, cost, or delivery requirements. Sixth, train through demonstration and practice. Seventh, make abnormal conditions visible. Eighth, align performance indicators and leadership behavior with the documented process. Finally, review the standard whenever the process changes or repeated deviations appear. Documentation should be part of a management system. It must be connected to training, observation, measurement, feedback, problem-solving, and continuous improvement. When these elements are missing, a procedure becomes an administrative artifact. When they are present, documentation becomes a practical operational tool. Process documentation is important. It creates consistency, preserves knowledge, supports training, reduces ambiguity, and provides a reference for improvement. But a document alone cannot change behavior. People do not work inside procedures. They work inside operational systems. If the process is complex, unrealistic, poorly supported, or contradicted by leadership, employees will create another way to complete the work. The solution is not simply to write more. The solution is to observe more. Involve the people performing the process. Understand their challenges. Simplify the flow. Test the standard. Train through practice. Align the system with the expected behavior. And make the correct method easier to follow than the incorrect one. The true measure of documentation is not whether the document was approved. It is whether the process is performed consistently when no auditor, manager, or trainer is watching. Because operational excellence does not exist inside a manual. It exists in the behavior that the process produces every day. In the next episode, we will examine operational debt, the hidden cost created when organizations repeatedly bypass standards and accept temporary shortcuts. Subscribe to the channel and continue exploring the hidden failures in operational excellence.